Hey guys, what's going on? I kind of just wanted to talk about my personal opinions again, but this time in a different fashion. This time to be a little bit of a contrarian and talk about the games that are popular that I just never really enjoyed. So let's just get on with it. Now, I'm expecting this video to get disliked or have some kind of negativity in the comments, and if that's the case, that's totally fine. But I feel like every single person out there has like some kind of game that is popular that a lot of people like, but you just can't get into. Maybe it's something about the game, maybe it's, something about yourself that you're just not into these sort of things, whatever the case may be. I also want to give a shout out to the YouTuber Radical for giving me the idea of even doing a video like this. So thank you, Radical, if you're watching. And so I was just thinking, I'm gonna pick 5 games or 5 game franchises, or whatever the case may be, to talk about that I just never got into and I just don't get it, I guess you could say. And some of these ranges from just outright disliking the games, like I just don't like them, to maybe not liking them as much as other people. So it doesn't mean that I hate every single game on here. It just means that, I'm not into it as much as, like, say, a good portion of the internet, I guess would be the case. So starting us off would be Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't think there was ever a point in my life I ever liked Sonic. I've tried out Sonic games multiple times, and each time I just don't get what makes them fun. And I know some people probably gonna expect me to say, like, oh, well, it's the 3D Sonics. The 3D Sonics are bad. Like, no, I've played the Sonics that people consider to be good. And that does include both, 3D and 2D Sonic. I've played some of the 2D Sonics. I've played Sonic Mania. I've played some of the 3D Sonics that people like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And I just don't like any of them. I don't like how they feel. I don't like the obsession with speed, and I guess that's why people like it, because the speed. But I don't. I don't like it. I'm not really somebody who typically finds speed to be something that's so important to me that I have to, like, have fast motion to enjoy something. And I don't know. I just never really fell in love with Sonic, and I don't really expect to at any point. And this is one of those games that I think I just outright dislike. I don't think there'll ever be a Sonic game that comes out that I'll necessarily love. I mean, if they prove me wrong, cool. I'll totally, say that, but I don't really think there is. The second game on my list is The Witcher 3. Some of these are going to be like specific games, while some of these are just going to be like franchises. But The Witcher 3 specifically, I just never vibed with. I don't know what it is. I think it's the combat. I think the combat was just weird to me, and I didn't really like it as much as I wanted to. That isn't to say that The Witcher 3 is a bad game. This is one of those that I was just kind of disappointed by, expecting it to be like this sort of revolutionary masterpiece of a game, considering the love for it. And I don't know. I had more fun with other open world games. I felt like The Witcher 3 at most was just a really pretty game, and that was kind of it. And I don't know it. And you know what? Just to kind of put it out there, I think I'm gonna kind of put another game into the same category as The Witcher 3, because they were kind of like the same thing for me, and that's Horizon Zero Dawn. I feel like Horizon Zero Dawn and The Witcher 3 both had the same issues for me, except that Horizon Zero Dawn is even worse than The Witcher 3, because at least in The Witcher 3, like when I'm having conversations with characters, it doesn't feel too stilted. Like, that's usually a problem open world games have, where you have a conversation with a character and the way the animations always look so stiff. And I think Horizon Zero Dawn is even worse in this regard than The Witcher 3 is. So I guess you could say, like, it's kind of both of them. They're both really pretty to look at, but in terms of playing them and like how they look animation wise when having conversations, it just looks weird. Looks like I'm talking to robots, which is ironic in the case of Horizon Zero Dawn. And yeah, so I don't know. So Witcher 3 and Horizon Zero Dawn, I just couldn't really get into. Now the third game, it's gonna be another one of those 2-in-1 kind of situation. So I guess this isn't really 5 games if you really think about it, but screw it. This is my video. I'm gonna do it anyways. And for this one, I had both Naughty Dog and Bloodborne. I don't know why I have them both here, but I think it's because they're both kind of like PlayStation exclusives, so I think like I just kind of put them in the same category for that reason. And when I say Naughty Dog, I'm talking about like Naughty Dog from like the Uncharted and The Last of Us portion of them. Like I did like Jak and Daxter, but I think it's because in general I'm very into platformers, both in the 2D and 3D variety, unless it's Sonic, I guess. I have never found a massive amount of enjoyment from neither Uncharted or The Last of Us, and it's weird because I think Naughty Dog is a developer that's really talented in what they are aiming to do. Like I think their animations are great, they visually look great for their time, and in general I think that they make good stuff, you know? I don't think they're untalented or anything like that, but every time I've ever played an Uncharted game, and in the case of both Last of Us games, I just don't really ever get to that point where I feel like they're masterpieces or they're some of the best games I've ever played. If anything, I have fun with them, and then that's it. And then they're over pretty much as soon as they've started, I guess. And in the case of The Last of Us Part 2, since that's their most recent title, I think that's their worst game so far. I don't think I've disliked a Naughty Dog game as much as I've disliked The Last of Us Part 2. And, you know, I've talked about it on streams before as to why I don't like Last of Us Part 2, and I kind of just talked about it on Twitter like very briefly and saying that I felt like this is like a 6 out of 10 game at, you know, at its worst. And when it comes to the previous Last of Us and the other Uncharted, it was never that bad, but they were kind of just games that I thought was good. But they ended very quickly, and I don't feel much love for them. They were just kind of enjoyable for their time, almost like something to gawk at in terms of the spectacle, and in the first Last of Us's case, like a good story, but it was never to the point of feeling like it was a masterpiece. It was just kind of like something that was good for its time, and then I forgot about it just as quickly as I started it. So there's that. And then Bloodborne specifically, this happens to kind of coincide with myself as a player more than the game itself, because myself as a player, I'm a very slow, methodical kind of player when it comes to whether it's, you know, fighting games or just hack and slashes or whatever the case may be. So Dark Souls was something I really enjoyed, and when I go into Bloodborne, I had to go into it knowing that this is not Dark Souls, this is an entirely new IP, this is an entirely new thing, even if the gameplay is similar to Dark Souls. Now that being said, I got into it, and the game kind of rewards you a lot for being very aggressive by having, like, you know, mechanics that give your health back by attacking enemies. And I think that and the limited weapon variety is what made me kind of not enjoy it as much. I think Sekiro does the limited weapon thing better, because Sekiro has like an entire in-depth combat system tied to it, while Bloodborne, in terms of combat, just feels like Dark Souls but with less weapons. So I'm not sure if that was like purposely done, but I just couldn't really get into Bloodborne for that reason. But I realize that's more on me than the game itself. But Bloodborne's also another situation similar to the Naughty Dog games, where I know that it's a situation where the game is well made and it's well done, but I just couldn't see it to this masterpiece level that like a lot of other people have as well. So yeah, that's kind of it for this, I guess, number 3 section of this video. Now number 4 goes to Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is okay. I don't have a massive love for it. I would think I would, because it visually looks like the kind of game that I would fall in love with, and that it would be my style of game, and I do like looking at it, and I do like how some of the music sounds, but something about playing it, I don't know what it is, and I wish I can honestly tell you guys why, but I don't know. Like, I actually don't know. It's weird because I have played other hack and slashes before, like Bayonetta and, like, you know, other Platinum games, but I just don't know why I can't get into Devil May Cry. I've played a few of them, and I remember specifically literally falling asleep on Devil May Cry 4. I don't know why. That's kind of it. I don't really have much to say about Devil May Cry other than I've given the game a shot multiple times in multiple different games in the franchise, and every time I just walk away with like an uninterested perspective, I guess. Maybe I have to give it another shot. I just don't know why. It is one of those games though. And the last game on this list goes to both Counter-Strike and Valorant. I just don't like the feel of the game. I think that's just what it is. You know, I've played Doom, Quake, Overwatch. I've even played Fortnite, and a lot of these other very popular FPSs of their time, Halo included, Call of Duty, all these other games. And I think Counter-Strike is maybe the only FPS that I've played that is extremely popular that I just don't care for. I don't know how to explain it, but I know there's a lot of skill involved with Counter-Strike, and that's cool and all, but playing the game just feels so boring. And Valorant, I feel like it's better because there's more skills involved and whatnot, but again, in terms of how the shooting feels, it just feels so boring. And I just can't get into it. More so in Counter-Strike's case, because it literally is just shooting, and if the shooting is boring, then you're gonna find the game boring, right? And I don't know, like, there's just not much going on in Counter-Strike, and I know it's a very popular game for the skill that is needed for it, but my god, I can't. There's like nothing going on in terms of the shooting. It just doesn't feel like there's. It just feels so barren in terms of that. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. I don't have much else to say on this video, so let me know how you guys feel about my hot takes today about the games and franchises that I just couldn't get into. I'm sure everyone has that popular, you know, developer or game franchise that they just could not get into as much as everyone else could. I've seen that a million times on the internet. So feel free to put your hot takes on the comments down below. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Shifty, yeah, shifty. Wanna be the #1 gamer? Come and get me. It'd be dope if you subscribe. Could you like the vid, please? Take your time, you don't gotta do it swiftly.